It's time for the Woolems Show. Find out what is going on inside Northeast DuBois baseball every week, straight from Coach Woolems. Exclusively on the Southwestern Indiana Sports Network.
Some people see a huddle in the locker room. We see a second classroom. Some see a student athlete on the court. We see a future leader in the community. You see, high school sports in Indiana are special. That's because they're about learning and growing, not just winning and losing. Fans, I'm Commissioner Paul Neidig. Support education-based athletics in Indiana by buying a ticket to your high school's next athletic event.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Wanting to scan those old videos, films, or audio to DVD? We'll look no further than Milligan Communications. We can also scan your old pictures, slides, and negatives to picture quality as well. With thousands of happy customers, let Milligan Communications help put your treasured memories on a digital media. Call Milligan Communications today at 812-630-2449. Milligan Communications, capturing your yesterdays.
And welcome to this week's Woolems Show. Coach, last week you played Jasper and Philly. Why don't you recap those games for us?
Well, the Jasper game, we had to move it over to Ruxter Field because our field was wet from the 3 inches of rain that we got last week, which also rained us out on Tuesday night. We were supposed to play Perry Central, so that didn't happen. But we got a chance to play Friday night, and we weren't going to turn down an opportunity to play, even if we had to go on the road, because when you've got a wet week like that, we couldn't practice on the field or anything. So it's a good chance for us to just go play. And of course, Jasper's got a nice ball club. They do everything fundamentally right, and they're going to hit the ball well. Trey Wiseman started for us on the mound, and I thought he did a good job mixing speeds and moving the ball around a little bit. Probably left him in one batter too long, and he gave up a 3-run home run, I think, in the third or fourth inning. I don't remember off the top of my head, but probably left him in one batter too long, and we ended up getting beat 10-0 over there. And so, really, to that point, it was feast or famine for us. We'd played 3 games, and all of them were five-inning games with us on the losing end of 2 of them and winning 1 against Clarksville the week before. Then we got Paoli on Saturday and jumped out to an 8-0 lead. And Clay Foreman had pitched really well through 5 innings and hit his kind of the pitch count that we had him on for the day, which was roughly 65 pitches. It's funny, you got to treat some of your basketball players differently. You treat their arms a little differently than the guys that are training with you all winter. Because they haven't had enough time in, enough throwing time and to really build up that arm strength. And you kind of look at like a 6-week program to get ready to where they're in, season shape. And we've only had our basketball guys for about 4 weeks now. So 70 pitches. He goes through 5 innings, pitched real efficiently. It's the first time he'd been on the mound since Heritage Hills, and he got knocked out in the first inning, Heritage Hills. So to see him come back and and locate and throw hard, and he really did a nice job for us against Paoli. Take him out after 5. And Grant Maringer comes in, gets us through the 6th. We give up a run. And then we get into the 7th, and the bullpen gets shaky and closing it out. We brought a couple freshmen in to try to close it out. And, sometimes it's tough to pitch with a big lead. You start scoreboard watching, and we end up sneaking out of there with a win, 8-6. But Paoli had the tying run at second base with 2 outs. And so it was really good for those 2 freshmen to have to pitch in that situation and to feel and deal with that kind of pressure. I told them, you're kind of like a mountain climber. You're almost to the top, and then you decide to start looking down. That was kind of the feeling, that we had in that game. But it's definitely good for those freshmen, and they're certainly going to play a role for us this year and coming out of the bullpen and maybe potentially starting for us at some point.
And I noticed last week, looking at Facebook, I think that the Du Bois Little League started last week too, right?
The T-ball started up on the hill. We get their season started a little earlier because they really don't practice. It's T-ball for 4 and 5-year-olds, so they get their season kind of out of the way, and then that opens the field up for the big boys. A little bit later, but our official opening day for Little League is April 27th, that Saturday, and that's a really neat event at Du Bois that we've been doing now for 4 or 5 years, and we get all the teams come in. They play like basically an inning where everybody bats for both teams, and so you get 10 batters, but it's really just a showcase of all the kids in their uniforms and our sponsors and all that stuff, and it's a neat community event.
And we're back on the Luke Woolems Show right after these messages from our sponsors. You're listening to the Southwest Indiana Sports Network, powered by Williams World for Communications.
When you think sporting goods, think no further than All Star Sports in Ferdinand. Custom embroidery, screen printing, team uniforms, sports equipment, and sports apparel and shoes. We have it all. Give Brad a call today at 812-367-1618 or visit them in the Country Plaza Shopping Center in Ferdinand. All Star Sports is open Monday through Friday 10 to 7 and Saturday 9 to 4. All Star Sports, when you're thinking sporting goods.
Wanting to scan those old videos, films, or audio to DVD? We'll look no further than Milligan Communications. We can also scan your old pictures, slides, and negatives to picture quality as well. With thousands of happy customers, let Milligan Communications help put your treasured memories on a digital media. Call Milligan Communications today at 812-630-2449. Milligan Communications, capturing your yesterdays.
Hey everyone, Joey Chestnut here, world champion competitive eater. I follow Southwest Indiana Sports Network, and if you're hungry for sports, you should follow them too.
Follow the Southwest Indiana Sports Network at swisportsnetwork.com or search Roku for our channel at SW Indiana Sports Network.
And welcome back to the Luke Show. Coach, this week you've got Evansville Christian, Forest Park, North Davies. 3 very good teams. It seems like you've always, every week I talk to you, you've got a good schedule, and this week doesn't. This week's no comparison.
Right. Well, I think playing a good schedule, and obviously we've got there's some teams on our schedule that aren't going to match up with some of the teams that we play this week. But these games, Evansville Christian is a sectional opponent. They got the Dunham kid that's going to USI to play basketball, but he's a pretty good baseball player too, and his brother's playing Double-A, in the minor leagues right now. They're going to be a good opponent. They won our sectional last year, so looking forward to seeing what they've got and seeing our kids match up with some of this competition. Forest Park's very good. I know they took one on the chin to Southridge last week, but they have a very good team. They're blessed with a lot of arms, and that's a quote from Coach Howard. They've got some kids that can flat throw baseball, and they do things the right way too. We talk about that a lot with our kids. That there's a right way to do things, and you see that in Dubois County with the teams here. I think there are some places that you go and maybe it's not necessarily the same style of baseball, just in how things are organized, or the press box is run, or there's a right way to do things, and it starts with what time you show up for the game, what you do before you leave for a ball game, how you dress, how you wear your hair, all that stuff. It's important. Getting off subject, and then on Friday we play North Davies, and they've been, I think they're ranked, or they were ranked in the preseason polls, and they're going to be pretty good too. And they've got a good coaching staff up there. Another team that does things the right way. The Davies County has got some good teams. It's going to be a tough week for us, but it's good for us to play this kind of competition. And right now, you can get hung up on wins and losses, but we've got to be learning. We tell our kids all the time, you're either winning or you're learning, and we're doing some learning, and that's okay. We've got some youngsters, we got some upperclassmen that have played and have some experience, but we just got to keep working. And weeks like this for us now, the competition for us this week is going to be the rain. I think the weather. We're trying not to look at the weather forecast, and we can't base anything off what might happen, but it's got potential to be a wet week too.
And I've always said that Dubois County is the king of Indiana high school baseball, and with you and Coach Howard and Coach Gilbert and Coach Mattingly, I think it all starts at the top, and there's 4 class individuals right there. And in the first week of the Indiana high school baseball coaches poll, I think all 4 Dubois County teams were ranked.
Well, certainly there's a standard here, and it applies not just to the product that you put on the field, but also to how your facilities look, and there's some pressure to keep up with the Joneses in this county, but that's okay. It's a good thing. We've got good people, and they work hard on our facilities, and Coach Friedman does a good job of getting us what we need, and our people do a good job of fundraising and all that. So we're definitely proud of the product that we've got up here.
Well, Coach, good luck, and we'll get some victories this week.
All right. Hey, thanks, Joe.
You're listening to the Luke Woolems Show on Southwest Indiana Sports Network, powered by Northern Roseburg Communications. We'll see you next week.
You have been watching the Luke Woolems Show. Find out what is going on inside Northeast Dubois baseball every week, straight from Coach Woolems. Exclusively on the Southwestern Indiana Sports Network.